Okay, as you can see, I'm wearing a Wolverine shirt, so let's talk about the last and probably the best performance of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine / Logan, along with Patrick Stewart's last performance as Charles Xavier. Logan, directed by James Mangold, starring Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Daphne Keane, Boyd Holbrook, Stephen Merchant, and Richard E. Grant. This movie is the last performance of Hugh Jackman as Logan / Wolverine and Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. This movie is set in a post-apocalyptic world where most of the mutants have been killed off, including almost all the X-Men except for Wolverine and Charles Xavier. And if you want to know why they're dead, you got to see the movie. Logan is very old and his healing factor has been deteriorated to the point that it's almost not even working anymore. Charles Xavier, his mind has been deteriorated a lot to the point where he can't control his mental abilities anymore, and he's got to take drugs in order to suppress his abilities, or else they go out of control. They are living off in the desert somewhere, along with Caliban, played by Stephen Merchant, who's taking care of Charles Xavier. In order to buy the medicine that Charles Xavier needs, Logan has to work as a limo driver. He finds out that there's this girl named Laura, played by Daphne Keane, who's from the same Weapon X experiment that gave him his claws. She has the same powers that he does and the same type of claws, and he's got to protect her. So Charles Xavier, and X-23 Laura on the run from this cyborg named Pierce, played by Boyd Holbrook, and this scientist played by Richard E. Grant, who's kind of like a surprise villain, as well as another surprise villain that I don't want to spoil, as they travel to this place called Eden that may or may not exist. Pierce has a bunch of cyborg characters called the Reavers working with him, and this is an awesome movie. I love this movie. This movie really earns the R rating, and Hugh Jackman is fantastic in this movie as Wolverine. This is definitely his best performance as the character. He really gives it his all for the sake that this is his last performance. And Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, he does a fantastic job as well. I really liked him as Charles Xavier and giving his all in this movie. Their chemistry is great. They really come off as like the odd couple in this X-Men world, which is hilarious. The introduction of X-23 was great. Daphne Keane is awesome as this character. She really does a great job kicking butt. She was very much like Hit Girl in this movie. And I like the fact that this movie is very much like The Last of Us game. If you were to compare this to that particular PlayStation game, this movie really felt like that game, the way Hugh Jackman and Daphne Keane were in this film. They were really great together. The three of them together were awesome. The chemistry between the three of them were great. And then you have Stephen Merchant playing Caliban. I thought he was pretty good in the movie. Boyd Holbrook is very good as Pierce, who in the comic books is from the Hellfire Club, and in this movie he's the leader of a group of cyborgs known as the Reavers. Surprisingly, I found this villain to be a pretty good villain. I did like this villain. I didn't think I was going to like this villain, because this wasn't the villain I wanted to see in this movie. I wanted to see a villain called Omega Red from the comics, who has fought Wolverine at times. And unfortunately, we get Pierce, who I didn't really like from the comics, but in this movie, I found him to be a pretty good villain. Boyd Holbrook plays this character very well, and the scenes he has against Wolverine and X-23 as well as Charles Xavier are very good. Richard E. Grant, I thought, played a very good villain as well. I did like him in the movie. And the surprise villain was awesome. I didn't expect this surprise villain, and I thought this villain was done very well. I'm not going to say who this villain is. I want it to be a surprise for anyone who hasn't seen this. And the surprise antagonist really caught me off guard, but I really liked the way that one was done. Just the overall movie was really good. The action was awesome, and I really love how they used the R rating, and I like how they used the swear words in this movie. And of course there's one scene of nudity which was really funny to show that yes, this is R rated. This is the kind of Wolverine movie I've been wanting to see, and I did like the previous Wolverine movie, but I was wishing that that movie was R rated, and I'm glad that this movie is R-rated, because this is the kind of action I wanted to see in a Wolverine movie. You got Wolverine slicing and dicing people, and we got the girl X-23 doing some of that as well, and just everything about this movie was awesome. So overall, this is a really great Wolverine movie, and it's definitely a great comic book movie, so I'm going to give this movie an A. Definitely check out Logan.